This episode of the Blerd Mob contains explicit language. While we want everyone to enjoy the show, sometimes we may say things that are not appropriate for all ages. So, in other words, Mom, Dad, Granny, we cussing. Discretion is advised.
King G, Grow Site, ENT. Rock with it, rock with it, rock with it, rock with it. Let me pop my shit. Let me pop my shit. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I'm your host, Phoop, joined by my co-host, Ryun. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications for future uploads.
So today, it's just Phoop and Ryun. Our co-host Ralph is out there trying to win the Boyfriend of the Year award. So we're going to let our big dog handle his business.
That is not how I thought you was going to say that, bro. I didn't. I thought we was going to keep it professional. He's out on travel, enjoying life or something. No,
but he's not traveling. He's trying to win the Boyfriend of the Year award, and I feel him. Ladies, get you a Ralph that would drop the podcast episode to make sure that his girlfriend is happy.
Queens, if that king won't drop his podcast recording, he don't want you.
Right.
Love yourself, queen.
Ryan laughing because he won't do that for y'all.
You right.
Ryan laughed because he wouldn't do that. He said, I got a recording at 1 o'clock.
All right, look. Whatever we're doing, put that on pause.
Put that on pause. I got you. He said, I got you after the recording.
Look, it's only gonna take an hour and a half. You ain't dying, right?
It ain't gonna take it. You just wait. Nah, Ryan, I don't know how strategic you will work, but me, see how long it take her to get ready. I'll just record while you're getting ready. I'll record while you're getting ready.
Look, it's how you word it. You got to plan ahead. Like, yeah, baby girl, we got an all-day date. But what you do is you take her to the early morning portion. How about you take a nap real quick? It's 11 a.m. over here. Take a nap real quick, and I'll be recording.
You gotta play the game.
We gotta rest up for when the sun get hot. There you go.
Right. Man, it has been a long week for me. I'm not even gonna hold you. But I've done my spring cleaning, and it's been very therapeutic. But I've also realized that I have too many clothes. My closet alone.
And sneakers.
We're not talking about the shoes. We're not talking about the shoes right now. I did give away some shoes that I bought. You ever buy some shoes just because you wanted to buy them, but then you wear them once and then you look at them and it was like, really didn't want these shoes. So I gave some shoes away. Out my closet alone, I think I pulled out 3 bags of clothes that I'm giving away. 4. So somebody finna be fresh to death on the streets.
Someone's finna go to Goodwill and be clean as hell.
Right. But I did that. I'm a box hoarder. So that's something new you guys can learn about me. When I get packages, I never open the package and immediately throw the box away or just sit somewhere. So over time, multiple boxes start piling up. So I was like, yeah, I got to get rid of these. So I cleaned out my area where I was hoarding all my boxes.
When you say the boxes, you're not necessarily saying the Amazon box. You're like, if you bought a PS5, you keep the PS5 box.
I keep wait. I'm talking about the Amazon boxes, the box that the PS5 box came in. Now, tip for those who are not doing this: keep the game system boxes. That is what you use to go from place to place. Now, if you got it like that, you can buy the little carrying cases from Amazon. But I keep the box. An MFer like me,
cases be half the price of the console.
Not all of them. I guess I bought a Nintendo Switch carrying case, and this is a legit carrying case, not the carrying case where it just holds the console, but this is a carrying case that holds the dock,
right? The
charging port. It can hold a Pro controller. It can hold the grip and then like I want to say like 20 games, and I paid like $20 for that.
All the ones I be seeing be expensive. Like I
may have gotten it
Xbox boxes and everything here.
I may have gotten it on sale, but well, anyway, if you're not keeping your PlayStation and Xbox boxes for transport, I don't know. If you don't have a other kind of bag, I just don't feel safe shoving my PS5 in a random ass book bag and just driving off.
They live in a risky lifestyle right there.
Right.
Very risky.
So the first thing I want to get into, and this just happened, and I have to put this in here. They dropped the runtime for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It is sitting at 2 hours and 6 minutes. What happened to 3 hours? I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Like that just happened because like we didn't even talk about that.
That just happened. This just dropped Saturday, April 2nd, 2022. That
they cut out like 40 minutes of content.
I don't know. So the first thing that came into my head is when they first announced the runtime. Well, the rumored runtime was 3 hours. And I was like, it has to be 3 hours because they're about to explain so much shit in this movie. And then we saw the trailer at the Super Bowl with Patrick Stewart, Superior Iron Man, whole bunch of other shits going down, 2 Wandas, all of that. And I was like, okay, this makes sense for this to be 3 hours. It just came out that the runtime is 2 hours and 6 minutes. So I don't know if they cut some shit out the movie because Spider-Man No Way Home, if you buy the DVD version, I think it said it had like 120 something minutes of deleted content. So I don't know if they're taking that route with the movie or if this was the original runtime always and we were just sitting on the rumor that it was going to be 3 hours.
See, I thought...
I'm confused because they made Spider-Man No Way Home, which is essentially a multiverse story, but on a smaller scale because it's just focused on Spider-Man. That was like 2.5 hours. So now, Multiverse of Madness, which is supposed to be touching multiple universes, or so we thought, is like 24 or 20 or so minutes less than that. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. Am I concerned? I'm not sure. I think it's at this point in time with a month out before we get to the movie. I think we just have to sit and wait. I think we just have to see execution.
I'm not concerned, but it is interesting because we see that Professor Xavier's in a movie. We see all these other people that are in the movie. And it's like, Spider-Man, y'all made that extra long just to get cameos from the old Spider-Mans and the old villains. And of course, Doctor Strange was in it. But now it seems like this movie is going to have a lot more pieces to whatever puzzle Marvel's trying to build in their MCU. Mm-hmm. So when I hear that it's lesser, I don't want to say I'm worried because, we know that Marvel has a certain standard. Like, they meet a certain bar in every movie that they make. Right. But it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's interesting.
Marvel was saying that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be like the staple movie for the MCU. Like, this is going to be like the turning point for the MCU. And if they can do that in 2 hours and 6 minutes, do it. I'm fine. I'm just concerned with this being the multiverse of how well are they going to navigate this movie in 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Right.
And they could do it. I think we could be... 3 hours made sense to me. Just because of how much they had to explain. But if they are able to execute this movie in 2 hours and 6 minutes, I won't be upset. It just came to a shock to me that we were hearing this is going to be a 3-hour movie, and now this is no longer a 3-hour movie.
I mean, if it was just a rumor, I thought it was like some official stuff. But if it was just a rumor, I'm not mad. I think that's just our fault for giving into like the.
Well, maybe it was just a rumor. Maybe the original cut. Maybe the rumor of the original cut. I think they took some stuff out. Maybe the rumor was the original cut for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was touching 3 hours. And then they got closer to the release and they started taking stuff out, and the final cut came out to be 2 hours and 6 minutes, because it was the same thing with the Batman. The Batman, from what I heard, was supposed to be like 4 hours. And that proved because they put out that 2-minute deleted scene with old dude being the Joker that was supposed to be in the movie that they took out. So there's no telling how many other scenes they took out of Batman, and it's for it to touch 3 hours when it seemed like it was originally supposed to be 4. But pre-order tickets for the Multiverse of Madness drop April 6, 2022. Good luck to everybody. I hope this does not turn into another Spider-Man No Way Home situation where they were selling Spider-Man tickets on eBay for thousands of dollars. And
Bro, if anybody bought that,
I don't even know how that would work. Don't. I don't even know how that would work. Like, I'm in Nebraska and I bought a movie ticket from some guy living in Chicago. How the fuck am I supposed to go see this movie? Like, how are y'all selling this?
You can't transfer an AMC ticket.
How are y'all selling these movie tickets? I don't know.
You're right. You can't transfer an AMC ticket and be like, hey, I bought seat A15 in auditorium 11. I'm gonna transfer it over to you. That don't even work.
Look, unless there's some movie technology that I don't know about, that with these systems that you can transfer to another theater and blah, blah, blah. I don't know nothing about that, but I just don't understand how that was working with y'all selling movie tickets on eBay. And maybe folks was just doing it for shits and giggles. It may not have even been that serious, but that's what I saw.
Hype culture. Everybody talks about these different cultures. Hype culture will make people make some stupid decisions, because it couldn't be me. It couldn't be me.
So
even if I love the Spider-Man movie, but it couldn't be me.
Nah, I wasn't paying thousands of dollars for no movie ticket. I would take a L and see all the spoilers on social media before I paid more than, I'll say, $30 for a movie ticket. Because movie tickets been getting high depending on how you want to, how and where you want to see it. I'm not paying $30+ for one movie ticket.
I was actually just on the phone with one of my homeboys. I was like, yeah, man, movie tickets out here like $14 a pop at AMC. They're like, 14, I just spent $7. I was like, 7?
Where you going?
Like 14. I go to AMC out here in South Bay Galleria.
That's a mess. I don't know what it is. But back in the Gap when we used to go to Cinemax down in Pearl, them tickets weren't that much. We was living the dream. We was living the dream. I remember when we went to go see Avengers Endgame, and I swear I bought like 20 movie tickets and paid like $60. Not 20. I had to buy 9. To buy 9. We bought like 20 in total because I had to split with Ralph, because AMC, not AMC, Fandango would not let us buy more than 9 tickets. So I had to buy 9 and he had to buy the other. And I paid like $60 for 9 tickets to see Endgame. Now I'm paying.
Was Endgame the movie when Ace yelled at us for being loud and ghetto in the movie theater?
Nah, that was Fantastic
Beasts.
That was Fantastic Beasts. But
he snapped on us. He said, I couldn't enjoy the movie because y'all was talking too much.
Man, listen. The other Marvel production I want to talk about, and this is pretty interesting. We about to go back to Wakanda Forever. Angela Bassett went on the Ellen show and said that Wakanda Forever is going to top Black Panther. She said it's going to top the first one. Quote. Are we calling that fact or are we calling that BS?
Listen, man. I've been worried about this movie just like everybody else since Chadwick Boseman passed away. I'ma just be honest. For you to say that, y'all must be pulling out all the stops. And even then, I don't know what stops y'all could be pulling to make a sequel to a movie that was damn near a cultural phenomenon, at least for black folks like us, because everybody was able to relate to that. There were folks who were not Marvel fans going to see that movie.
Right.
And they probably haven't seen a single Marvel movie, or at least they never like intently watched one, like to actually go to the theaters to go buy a ticket for one, and they loved it. And now the actor that they all identified with, Chadwick Boseman, the character T'Challa, is not going to be in there, and you say this movie's going to top it. That's a lot, especially since I'm pretty sure the script and the screenplay, like what y'all were intended to make this movie, included him, and y'all had to adjust.
It's a loaded statement. I'll give you that. But so you're saying it's BS, one, because of Chadwick, and just because of the cultural impact that the first movie had, that you don't think the sequel could top it. But
most definitely,
I think it could. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. We say this all the time, every time we talk about Black Panther, but there have been times where sequels have been better than the first one. And if we just want to go Marvel, I think Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, was a good sequel to Captain America, The First Avenger. But we've also seen bad sequels. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it's not my favorite. Thor 2, we don't need to talk about that. But
Thor Ragnarok was the best Thor in my opinion. I fell asleep on the others.
But that's the third one. So it could be a hit or a miss. But the things that I want to say that's coming in Wakanda Forever that might take that movie over the top is that we're getting, the villain is supposed to be Namor. So they're introducing Atlantis. So we're getting another fictional fantasy location other than Wakanda. And we're getting Riri Williams in the movie, who was Ironheart, which in the comics, she is a super genius that is inspired by Iron Man to make her own metal suit and go fight crime. And I think that would be a way to pull in, Tony Stark and the other Avengers in the movie through her, just to continue that next generation of Avengers that we're going to be seeing going forward. So I think with those elements, plus what we already know and the characters that we've already seen, I think they have the potential to make this a good movie. It could top Black Panther because you have the cultural impact of Black Panther 1, and if they, lead with that, they could probably make a greater cultural impact. Because think about the people who may have not watched Black Panther until Chadwick Boseman died. On your end, you're nervous for the movie, but you may have some people who are excited of what they're going to do next, given that. I think they have the potential. It's a loaded statement. I'll give you that, because what's going to happen is if we go in the theaters and Wakanda Forever does not perform, then it's going to be like, why'd you guys continue with the movie?
It's like, I want to know, and of course you'll never get this information, but like I want to know, like, what was she basing it off of? Because like she could have said this is going to top it, but her perspective, what was so amazing about Black Panther, could have been the inclusion. This might have more inclusion and some other stuff in it. She might say the cinematography, or it might be the story, or the story alone is what makes it better for her. So I'll be interested as to why she said it. But for me, because I don't know why she said it, I can't base my excitement and my hype, not even a little bit. Like, I can't even let it slightly be influenced by her saying that on what I'm looking forward to for Wakanda Forever. Like, I'm definitely going to watch it.
I think we need a trailer.
I'm going in it.
I said I think we need a trailer.
We definitely do. I need a nice trailer.
We've been hearing a lot of talking surrounding this movie. They've been leaking some pictures of like the set and stuff, but honestly, I think we need a trailer. I think we need we need something. We need to see something.
They need to cut down the rah-rah and give me some video, some images, something.
I don't know. They may drop the first trailer, the first look trailer for Wakanda Forever sometime in the summer. My bet is August because we have yet to get a trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. That's supposed to be coming out in July. What are we doing, Marvel?
You're right.
What are we doing? Now,
you're right.
If they're going to pull a Spider-Man, and at the end of Multiverse of Madness, we get a Thor: Love and Thunder trailer, then I guess, sure, but we've yet to get a trailer.
I wonder if it's a new marketing strategy. Maybe they see like how hype works, and they're like, "Don't let me overwhelm my fans and my consumers. Let me have them hype one at a time."
The only way I can see that working, if this is their new marketing strategy, the end of Multiverse of Madness has to tie in to what's going on in Thor: Love and Thunder, because that's the only way it worked with Spider-Man. That at the end of Spider-Man, then they started going into the Doctor Strange side of the after effects of him doing that spell for Peter Parker. So now we know that this is happening immediately after No Way Home. And there have been times where certain stories, MCU stories, are happening at the same time. Like Ant-Man and Infinity War were happening at the same time.
Right.
There was a piece in Hawkeye when you got the backstory of Yelena, of what she was doing after Black Widow, that was happening at the same time as Infinity War. So, if they choose to do that, and it's going to where this story leads into this one, I'm interested to see how the Multiverse of Madness is going to play into the cosmic nature of Thor, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they're going to be in that movie.
I am interested.
I think. But yeah.
Yeah, because didn't he leave off to space with them and everything else? Like, he literally got on the ship with them?
Yep, he got on the ship with them. Valkyrie is now the king of Wakanda. So.
You think it's going to tie back into the Eternals since they mentioned Odu, brother?
I don't think so. I am not expecting to see the Eternals for a while.
For a good minute.
Because this is cosmic, but the Eternals was like some other shit. Like, this is like the creation of worlds and universes, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the Big Bang.
Thor was a god.
They was like, I mean, I don't see them coming back this early. I'll put it like that. I don't see them coming back this early. Now, if they do they may do some link between what happened with the Eternals. It may be an end credit scene. I just don't see them coming back this early.
Right.
But I also could be wrong. So, we'll see. I've also watched...
Well, you see the Blerd mob predicts everything.
Right. Give us our check, Marvel. First of all, Nintendo has to give us our check for that Mario Strikers bit. We need a check. But I also watched Moon Knight. And it's pretty good. So Moon Knight is exploring a character named Stephen Grant that has another personality named Mark Spector, who's a mercenary. And in the first episode, you follow Stephen, who I think he's aware that things are happening that like when he's unconscious or when like he goes to sleep, but he hasn't fully figured it out. So the first episode was him fully figuring out that he has another personality living inside of him. And it was cool to watch. The CGI is a little
It is?
Yeah. It's certain points that you can tell that the CGI was like, okay. But I think it will get better. I'm hoping it will get better throughout the series. But the thing that I found interesting is that this is my first time, I guess, on the screen seeing Marvel approach a character with dissociative identity disorder. Dissociate identity disorder,
right.
DID. The only time I've seen it outside of Marvel is with the Doom Patrol show. They have a character named Crazy Jane that also has DID. But she has like way more personalities than Moon Knight, or what we've seen so far. So it was interesting to see him like going back and forth and them exploring that in Moon Knight. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the rest of the series. I will let you know at the end of the series if you should get you a Disney Plus account and watch it.
You know, after
I'll
it expired, that free one from Verizon expired. I ain't got it back.
I'll let you know. I will let you know. The other thing that went down, Young Justice is back. And god damn it. This is gonna top season 3. I honestly, it wasn't gonna be too hard to top season 3. Honestly. But they are. I think this is going to top season 3. It's giving me very season 2 vibes for all my DC fans out there. If you are not watching Young Justice right now, you need to catch up. You need to stop playing, and you need to get you an HBO Max account, borrow your grandmama's, your friends, your mama's mamas, your daddy's daddies.
Not with Netflix doing this password cracking. We don't want everybody else.
HBO Max ain't said nothing about that. So until HBO Max says something about that, go and get somebody password, and you need to catch up on Young Justice right now because there is so much shit happening. Mm-hmm. Like, they're into the Aquaman art. For those who remember him as Aqualad, Calder is now Aquaman, and they released 3 episodes which are surrounding his art, and it's like so much stuff that is tying together, so many things that are happening. I'm like, yo, this is about to be nasty. I see it. I'm not gonna say any spoilers because these episodes are fresh, but if you have not watched Young Justice, get on it right now. I will give it to you. If you were discouraged after watching season 3, you don't be discouraged no longer. I think they coming with it. I think they finna come with the heat. And I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm talking to you too, Ryan. Catch up right now.
I mean, you listen, you know what I've been on. I've been on Elden Ring 8 hours a day like it's a full-time job. Portia recommended y'all these shows, but let me tell y'all something. If y'all ain't playing Elden Ring, y'all missing the game of the year right now. I'm calling it. Story. I barely know what's going on in that game. I ain't even gonna lie to you, but I'm used to From Software games. The stories and the items you pick up, the armor and everything else, like they tidbit the story. It's not like, because I know you don't play many RPGs, but it's not like you jump in the game. If you don't look at nothing, like if you don't look at the maps you find, there's this little thing where you can find pictures. If you don't look at when you pick up some armor and you study like and you look at the descriptions, that's how they tell a story. Like, I ain't gonna give no spoilers, but like there's this one character you think he goes crazy. But like when you walk through the map, you see this armor of characters that are known to be assassins. So when you kill the character, you get his armor, and it's like armor worn by this character who defended this person. And then you travel around and you get a helmet. But the helmet shouldn't match the character because the character was another type of creature. You look at the helmet's description, it says worn by an assassin. And this helmet is a great copycat of the character's real face. Now you realize that character never went crazy like everybody was thinking. An assassin killed him and took over their image. But you wouldn't know that. Like, someone could play that whole map and just be like, damn, I had to kill blah, blah, blah. But if you don't read the description of armor, you wouldn't know it. It's like really subtle how they told the story in Elden Ring, but I love it. I'm loving it. Great action scenes. They reward you for discovery. Listen, that's not the Young Justice of this year. That's the Arcane of this year. I'm just putting it out there.
I want y'all to pay attention that Ryan said he has been playing Arcane like his full-time job. The man does not work. Y'all gonna listen to me?
24 hours in a day.
Y'all gonna listen to me one day. Ryan does not work.
Hey, listen, man.
He doesn't work.
There are 24 hours in a day. 8 for work, 8 for Elden Ring, 6 for sleep, and the other 2 hours get split between work and Elden Ring.
He don't work. I'm not even gonna pay attention to your math because you don't work. You just lied to me.
The math is mathing. the math is mathing.
I don't care about the math. You don't work.
It add up, it subtract, it multiply and divide. The math is mathing.
No. But with you bringing up Elden Ring, we have to talk about PlayStation's so-called competitor to Xbox Game Pass. And come on, PlayStation. So PlayStation is upgrading their PlayStation Plus subscription to a tier system. This combines PS Plus with PS Now. There's 3 tiers. You get Essential, Extra, and Premium.
Mm-hmm.
Premium, I guess, which is like their selling point, includes PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games, along with the PS5 games and PS4 games you would have gotten with the previous 2 tiers. On one end of the spectrum, I think this is a good move for Sony because PS Plus and PS Now were separate subscriptions. So now they're combined into one. So if you were paying for both, then now you only have to pay for one. So I could see that being a good move. What baffles me is that they called this a competitor to Xbox Game Pass, but the thing that takes Game Pass over the top, Sony has specifically said they're not doing that. So Sony said they won't add first-party exclusives on PS Plus, on PlayStation Plus, at first launch. And when I saw that, the first question I asked, I was like, so how is this a competitor to Game Pass?
Facts.
I
got a question. I ain't looking into it, but I want to ask you this. Are they still, do you still have to stream the games? Because it's a difference when you can fully download the game and run it from your system, no internet connection, no nothing. It's another one you got to stream the game. To my knowledge, PS played the older version. I don't know if they changed this post-announcement, but prior to this, PlayStation's competitor to Game Pass, you were streaming the games. I mean, you had to be consistently connected to the PlayStation servers.
So that was PS Now. So I think it's both.
But did they say that that's changing?
I don't think it's changing. I think what's happening, from what I remember seeing, is that some of the games are going to be downloadable. I think it's the PS5 and PS4 games that are going to be downloadable, and PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP are going to be the ones that you have to stream. But that's if you pay for that tier. So it's not. So you can't pay the $9.99. You can't pay for the essential package and get the streaming.
That's a little lackluster. It's a little lackluster because yes, because the thing with streaming is like, even though we may not see it, not everybody has access to internet, or let alone good internet. So imagine streaming a single player game, which what Sony's exclusives are known for. So imagine streaming Horizon, God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man, Demon Slayer, all of that. And now your game lagging, your single player game that you shouldn't have to be connected to the internet for because you're streaming it. That's the suckish part about streaming.
I don't think that's all of them though. From what I remember reading, I only think it's the lower gen games. I think PS4 and PS5, Now, you're not going to be able, from what I saw, you're not going to be able to download hella games. I think with the essential, I think they said you get 1 PS5 and 2 PS4 games a month that you can download. And then if you get extra, they open the library to 340 PS5, PS4 games. And then if you get essential, then your library expands. So that's the part of it, is that you only get access to the PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games if you pay for the highest PlayStation Plus package.
That's just a lot of confusion. I mean, like, here's the thing. I get having options.
I guess I don't understand what are the tiers for. I guess that's also my confusion. Is that what is the purpose of, if you're gonna make this a competitor? Because correct me if I'm wrong, that with Game Pass, when you pay for Game Pass, you get access to, there is a second tier of Game Pass, but if you're paying for Game Pass, you get access to pretty much everything. Xbox One and Xbox 360 back, right?
Yes.
Okay,
you can get with Game Pass, just with Game Pass, you got access to OG Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and you get access to game trials and demos for select EA Play games, and that's for the Ultimate and the PC Game Pass. Because Ultimate Game Pass, let me look at it. Like, it's basically $9.99 for console and PC, $14.99 for Ultimate. Ultimate does nothing but combine it with EA, because I don't know if you remember it, but EA tried creating their own EA Play, which was essentially like an EA version of Game Pass, kind of like how the streaming companies kind of broke away from Netflix, but it wasn't like doing well. Sony actually then signed a deal to do it with them, and they said F that. So Microsoft was like, well, we're just going to tie this into Ultimate. So if you go from Game Pass, which is all Xbox, basically Xbox said you get all of us $9.99.
So I'm
pay $5 extra, now you get EA. So it's a separate subscription.
So that goes back to my question: like, how is this a competitor? That one, you split this out into tiers, and based on what tier I get, I don't even get everything. So
yeah,
what Xbox Game Pass has $9.99 for the regular. It's the same as the essential PlayStation Plus. Is where you get that 1 PS5 and those 2 PS4 games. $14.99 for the Ultimate and Game Pass compares to the $14.99 for the Extra, which still doesn't give you access to PS1, PS2, whatever games. I have to pay $3 extra or $4 if you want to, because of the 99s. I don't know if this is worth it. I think what's confusing me the most is that they called it a competitor. Now, if they were just saying we're upgrading PlayStation Plus for this, that, and the third, and this was just their solid entity of something that they just wanted to do, sure, I would still have some skepticism of why you guys made the decisions that you made. But to call this a competitor to Xbox Game Pass, I'm not seeing where this is holding up. I'm not seeing where this is matching up.
And the other thing, which I forgot to include because I pay for Live separately, which makes me have to go reevaluate this. Game Pass Ultimate includes Xbox Live. So Game Pass, you need Xbox Live to play the games online. You know, that's always been the thing, even back in the PS2 days, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 days, when folks were complaining about, oh, Xbox Live, you got to pay money. PlayStation Live is like free, like you don't got to pay for it. But with Game Pass Ultimate, that comes with Xbox Live Gold and the EA game. So basically, $9.99 is default. Game Pass access to this entire library, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and immediate drops. So for $10, that's what you get.
So with that it seems like PlayStation is the reverse. That because PS Plus is
PlayStation basically F y'all.
PS Plus is basically the live multiplayer subscription that you pay for, and then $9.99 is essentially that. So up front, you're paying for the multiplayer. And then if you go up tiers, then you get the other games. So, I don't know. Yes. Maybe they made the decision based on how their consumers
They're charging more for less.
Yeah. Maybe they made the decision based on their consumers. But at the end of the day, I would not call this a competitor to Xbox Game Pass. I think the fact they did say you get time-limited game trials of newer games, but I think the fact that you're not letting people play exclusives at launch, yeah, because I feel like that should be I don't know.
It's just a new subscription. It's just a new subscription service, like, because at the end of the day, you gotta look at what fans have been complaining about, who are Sony fans. Sony fans, one, like, if you just look at how Sony has evolved as a company, their first complaint was, oh my gosh, y'all charging for online services. Well, they got to keep their servers up and all that good stuff somehow. That's just that's how Xbox did it. That's how Sony did it. That's why Xbox Live as an online service of the UI, even if you're not an Xbox fan, if you look at it, you can say that you know that it's better. But Sony, that's what they added. Then Xbox is doing Xbox Live Gold with the Xbox One. Xbox One struggled compared to the PS4. But with Xbox Live Gold, they added this feature. They already had Xbox Live, but with Gold, they added this feature. You get 2 free Xbox One games. Now, it may not be the exclusives. Exclusives can come later. You get 2 free Xbox games, and then they'll throw in like a 360 game or 2 360 games as well. That always existed. That was just a free addition to Xbox Live Gold. Then they created Game Pass. Sony, I think they at some point integrated you can get a free game every now and then too. So it's interesting. That first tier is what you was already getting. Ain't nothing really changed.
Exactly.
That's what y'all was already getting. Y'all are essentially paying more to get some games, but the benefit of Game Pass was, one, the games are downloadable. You ain't got to stream them. They're down. You download everything. The 360, the Xbox One, and now Series X games. You download them. 2, all exclusives drop in like day one. And they've proven that with Halo Infinite and a few others. And it was accessible on PC as well. So PC players get the same benefit. Xbox Series X players or One players, same benefit as well. This isn't a Game Pass competitor. This is just another subscription service.
Yeah. I think they should have went... I get not going with what's hot or following the bandwagon. But I think after Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, I think they should have did something. That this should have been one of those moments where you guys are going to have to buckle down and do what everybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
They have acquired multiple studios, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out. My ending statement is that I don't see this as a competitor. Will I be paying for one of these PlayStation Plus tiers? I don't know. The fact that it's 340... Now, something that did get me was that you could play older games, but it's 340 PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP games combined. That's the whole library. So at that point in time, they're basically picking and choosing what games they're even going to put in this tier. And it may not even be stuff that I want to play.
Exactly.
So,
and I don't know. It's interesting, and I know it might be like some technical reasons. I've always questioned why they couldn't just do exactly how Xbox does it. Make your PS1, PS2, PS3 games. Let us be able to download. Let us be able to play the old Ratchet and Clanks. Let us Sly Coopers. Let us do what we want. I don't know why PlayStation can't do it. I don't know if it's traditions. I don't know if it's something that they don't want to do. I don't know if it's because obviously you're losing money to a certain degree, but it might not even be in their business strategy because, we talked about this episodes back. Microsoft's business strategy is to become the Netflix of gaming. So maybe Sony's like, that's not what we're trying to do. So maybe that's why they're not following
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. So, I don't know. I will I guess we'll have to see how this plays out, because I just don't see it being a competitor. Now, if it does well, sure, but I don't think people are going to be like, oh, this is better than Xbox Game Pass. I don't see that happening. And with you talking about Xbox, I think as far as like the games go, I think it's about that time that Xbox gets their own individual showcase. PlayStation has had theirs.
Yeah.
Nintendo has theirs. If they were depending on E3, then for 2022, they just lucked out. E3 for 2022 just got canceled. And they canceled the in-person one.
R.I.P.
They said they're coming back in 2023. So they canceled the in-person part of E3 in January, and then it seemed like they had no drive to continue with the digital one, which they did in 2021 or something like that. They had a digital one.
The first COVID one was like digital too, I think, wasn't it? Because I was supposed to go to that one.
One of them got canceled because of COVID, and then they came back with a digital. So maybe it was the 2021 that got canceled because of COVID?
Yeah, because 2020, that's the one I was actually going to go to. Had tickets and they had to refund us. And I think they did make all of that digital. Because I remember Ubisoft did that little interesting event. I think that was the first one that... Was that the first one that Sony said they wouldn't be at? Or was 2021's the one that Sony said they wouldn't be at? Was that the first one Sony didn't attend? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Tell me if I might be wrong, but I think 2021 was the first one where Sony said forget it.
I think it was 2020.
I don't know.
I think it was 20. I can't remember. I think it was summer of 2020 where they did their first state of play. I don't know. The reason why I brought up E3 being canceled is because I think we all saw this coming. When everybody started coming out with their individual showcases, it was how long could E3 could there be a E3 now that everybody's doing their own individual things? And they said they're going to come back in 2023. I don't know how they're going to get major players such as PlayStation and Nintendo back in it when they already have their own events. The only major game publisher that we have not seen do their own Nintendo Direct, PlayStation State of Play is Xbox. So with them not doing E3, is Xbox going to try something out? And if it gets good reception, are they just going to say F E3? The other thing is what's going to happen to the minor publishers that do show stuff at E3. Are they going to try to hop in on the big three showcases? Or are they still going to try to throw something in the E3?
So they kind of already do that to a degree. Like the publishers who normally stood aside at E3, because like a lot of people forget that E3 is the electronics expo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it does theme around gaming, but Razer would have their little expos. It would be like the PC gamer expos. Like they'll have some stuff. Ubisoft is always a big one. EA would have theirs, and then even CD Projekt Red Bethesda, which is now owned by Microsoft, would have theirs, which is interesting.
So, do you think that E3 would just be tech? If E3 comes back in 2023 and Nintendo, let's play a hypothetical. Let's say for this year, for 2022, Xbox creates their own event. They get good reception. They'll say, why do we need E3? E3 2023 comes around. Let's say the big three say, no, we don't want to go into E3. We can do our own showcases. Do you think that E3 would just be that, the electronics expo?
The thing is, and let me Let me make sure I'm doing my stuff correctly, because we putting out a lot of information. I don't want to be lying to our fans. So E3 is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. Mm-hmm. So it's electronics that are meant to entertain, hence why gaming has always been the main ones. However, if they dove into just tech, they would be competing against a great expo that I love in Vegas called CES. Portia, you've heard me bring that up every time in our group chats when it occurs. That's the Consumer Electronics Show. And at CES, they show all tech, drones, TVs, everything. E3's biggest showcases were the big three companies for gaming, and then Ubisoft and Bethesda and EA. Mm-hmm. But the publishers, there's three publishers and the three major console producers. At the end of the day, the publishers could just pick and choose which console producer they want to work with that year. Exactly. Show off their game there and call it a day, because they already do it anyway.
Think about this, though.
And Xbox owns one of them now. Microsoft owns one of those three now.
Right. But I'm gonna hit you with another hypothetical. Let's say that the big three do have their digital showcases. They get good reception, but this is not the reaction that they want. They want to be in front of the people, answering the questions, seeing the reactions, seeing the real-time reactions of them showing off these new games. What if that they take that and now it's not E3, it's like a E3 week with Nintendo has a showcase one day, PlayStation has a showcase one day, Xbox has a showcase one day. What if they just split off from E3?
It's like, so what you're saying is, if all the console manufacturers decided to make an agreement and be like, for the fans, we're going to time this stuff perfectly and do it like this for them?
Or maybe not even a week. Maybe, let me take that back. Maybe it's not even a week. What if they want the in-person presence, but they just don't do it through E3? Nintendo shows up, they rent out this convention center, whatever, and this is our Nintendo showcase.
It's like they can, but it's gotten to a point, and of course, the pandemic heavily emphasized this, but it's gotten to a point where we realize that everybody does everything digitally. Mm-hmm. All of our marketing is done digitally. Like, just being honest, a company can invest thousands of dollars into a billboard on the highway. Yeah, boomers and Gen Xers may like actually look at that and pay attention to that. But let's just be honest. Millennials and Gen Zers, we look at Instagram. We look at YouTube. Like, it's gotten to a point where everything is digital, even the way that how we're marketed to. So honestly, the companies do save a lot more money in just saying, hey, we're going to record in our own studios, our own buildings. Hell, let's just get some nice recording cameras, walk around our own manufacturer companies and say, this is what we want to show you, and control exactly how we market to our consumers. That it's not, honestly, it's gotten to a point where it's not much of an incentive for a company to do the in-person stuff. They can, but now it ain't nothing to just say, hey, we got a demo, we reviewed it, download it. We sending out the demos right now. Here are the codes, demos, go download.
Yeah, that's
and like, because that's all you will be doing at the in-person shows anyway. The in-person shows, the benefit was, the camaraderie. You're around a whole bunch of fellow gamer nerds, and y'all are all playing the same demos. But honestly, the pandemic and how everything's been digitized has showed us that we don't need that. And secondly, we're not that sociable like we used to be anyway. Mm-hmm. So we don't care for it as much. Just being real.
So I guess, do you think this cancellation should be permanent based on what you said? They said they're going to come back in 2023. Do you think they should come back in 2023?
The only piece of me that would want them to come back is the little child in me that loved when E3 came and I'll be in school sneaking to watch it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. That is the only reason I want E3 to come back, is because of nostalgia. But in retrospect, in terms of functionality, I feel like everybody's better off saving their money. Don't be paying for all these flights to send out developers and big wigs to some expo to show off some stuff. No. Do it in your own studio. Do it in-house. Send out a nice organized video or live stream to your fans, and everybody's satisfied and you save money.
Or you think, so you're saying that if they do it, just stay digital? Because they could combine them.
Stay digital.
That E3 would be digital, but in that E3, in those days of E3, you still get a PlayStation State of Play. You get a Nintendo Direct. You get whatever Xbox is going to come up with. It's still E3, but then it's going back to the digital thing. Or do you think that would work, or do you think they should just scrap it, period?
I think they should just scrap it, because I don't even know how E3, like the companies or the people that bring it together, I don't even know what incentive they could give to Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft and say, hey, let's still do it in the same week, but do it digital. It's like, I mean, we can. Or when Microsoft, feel like marketing my game, I'll market it the day I feel like marketing. Or Sony, when I feel like marketing a game, I'll market it here. Nintendo may prefer their March Nintendo Directs because they know that a lot of their games are dropping in the summer. Microsoft may say, we like to market our games in September because our biggest games are going to drop in the winter. I don't see how you can, what incentive you can give. You know, so
you don't see them giving back control to another entity after they've already proven that controlling their own environment gets good reception.
Exactly. It's like how we talked about the Nike thing in Foot Locker. Why have a middleman when I can be direct to my consumer, where I can completely control the marketing and the quality of the product?
I feel you.
I feel bad because I love E3, but
times are changing. So I don't know. If they are planning to come back in 2023, I am interested to see what they're going to pull out. Like, things are changing, so they can't do E3 the way that they've always done E3. They're going to have to do something different for people to be excited for E3. I think everybody saw this coming, but if they are saying that we're going to come back in 2023, they're going to have to give us something to be like, yeah, make sure y'all tune in for E3 2023.
Technical difficulties, Portia. My mic just disconnected and you're coming through my laptop speaker. But that's keep crazy. Going. It is. I just turned it back on. I'm sorry. The fans gonna hear about it. I got a cheap mic, y'all. I'm sorry.
That ain't no cheap mic. You're just not paying attention.
No, it be disconnected for some reason.
That's weird.
But you can keep going. It's not much of an issue right now.
All right. The last thing I want to talk about. It has finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. They released the release date for House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is dropping August 21st, 2022. They released the date, they released a new promo picture, and they've released some images from the show. And I have to say, the pictures look good, but they're giving me Lannister vibes. And if you know what I mean by Lannister vibes, it's giving incest. But I do have to say that everything does look good. So House of the Dragon is based on George R. Martin's book, Fire and Blood, which is like 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones. Just to read a little bit from the back of the book, it begins their tale with the legendary Aegon the Conqueror, creator of the Iron Throne, and goes on to recount the generations of Targaryens who fought to hold that iconic seat, all the way up to the civil war that nearly tore their dynasty apart. It's supposed to answer questions. One of the questions it's supposed to answer for those who watch Game of Thrones is what is the origin of Daenerys' 3 dragon eggs? So this is about to be like a whole, what do you call it? Anthropology series when they go back and explain stuff. Is that the right word?
Anthropology?
I don't
Using
know.
some big words outside of my dictionary portion.
Not I use some big words.
Look, your GPA was higher than mine in college.
That don't mean you don't know nothing about no words.
Look, you don't know what I thought about when you said anthropology? I thought about archaeology. I was like, don't they got something to do with fossils?
What is anthropology is the study of what makes us human. Anthropologists take a broad approach to understanding many different aspects of human experience. I don't know. It sounds like the right word. It might not be. Ron said his GPA was lower than mine, but hey, that don't mean we know everything. But it's supposed to it's supposed to be like, what were the Targaryens like before we see Daenerys in Game of Thrones? And I think what this series is, to me, my theory for this series is that we are about to get the truth of all of the rumors, all of the statements that were made about the Targaryens in Game of Thrones. We're about to see if these junts are true or not. When I look at these photos, it's giving me royal, not well-mannered, but very
uptight
Targaryens.
Pretentious.
There we go. Dictionary words.
Pretentious.
But it's giving me that vibe. It's giving me Westeros. It's giving me the Red Keep. It's giving me politics, because when we first see Daenerys, she wasn't really involved in all of that. We see her build up to it, but this is like them. This is like the Targaryens in their element. This is like, what does it mean for the Targaryens to rule? So I'm pretty excited. Now, if the series is supposed to follow the book, it said it's supposed to lead up to the civil war that tore their dynasty apart. So I guess my next question is, how many years is this series going to cover? Because if
that is interesting.
I don't know that information.
Have they said how long it's going to be? Like how long the series should be?
No. Now,
how long would you want it to be?
I would want it to be 10 episodes. I think we should just come out the gate straight Game of Thrones season 1 style, and I think this should be 10 episodes. I don't know how many seasons I would make this. I can't answer that question yet, but I think it should be 10. Now, if they want to go 8, look now, this better be the best damn 8 episodes I've ever seen. But I think they should go 10.
It's one of those things where it's like they gotta impress us. But it's like, in terms of timing, if I'm not mad at a series that does time skips, or even if they're saying, oh, this whole series takes place in the span of only a couple of months, I'm not against either, as long as you do it well.
Yeah.
But 300 years before Game of Thrones, this whole family, I do want to be immersed, but not just in the Targaryen family. I want to see everybody. I want to, because like Game of Thrones does a really good job of their character ensemble. I want to see what's going on through y'all rule and all that good stuff. And if they stay true to how George R. R. Martin intended for Game of Thrones to be, but now we got new writers, so I don't know what. Keep going.
I was gonna say, George R. R. Martin said I can't remember the exact wording, but he liked it. He liked what they did with the series. I was also going to say, damn, I lost my thought. This is what I was going to say. I don't know how many of the existing families from Game of Thrones are actually going to exist in this series. With this being 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, Lannisters, Tullys, Starks, they may not even exist. These may be like, we may get the families that eventually lead to those families.
And that's the thing. I'm not mad if they don't show old families, because what made me interested in watching this series, arguably, Targaryen house is one of my favorite houses from Game of Thrones. I love Daenerys. I love Jon Snow too, and spoiler alert, if y'all for some reason have not watched Game of Thrones yet, he's a Targaryen. So that is a big chunk of why I wanted to watch it, but honestly, I just love the fantasy. So me personally, it's like I know they're the focus, but even if they're the focus, please stick to what Game of Thrones did with that character ensemble and allow me to be immersed into the world with all the different characters, all the different families and houses, all the different stuff going on. Because we're going to see a lot more magic in this too, because we're starting off with dragons more than likely, right?
Yeah, I think so. I guess
so it's like
I personally would not have high hopes of exploring multiple families. If based on what we know, this is going to be solely focused on the Targaryen family. They may pull in other houses just to, play out the story of how the Targaryens started and how they ended. But I don't think we should get our hopes up for them to hop between families like we got in Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones was telling the story of all of these different families, the politics, all leading up to who's going to sit on the Iron Throne.
Battle for the throne, yeah.
In this story, the Targaryens already have the throne. And it just seems like they're exploring what was Westeros like, because they're going to be in Dragonstone. What was Westeros like when they had the throne? How did they interact with these multiple houses? Now I can see that. How do they interact with each other? And because the Targaryens' rule lasted for that long, I don't think we're going to see multiple houses fighting for the throne. We may see like multiple houses working with this one Targaryen because he wants the throne.
Right.
So I see them hopping through multiple people of the families, and then they get that one guy or that one girl or, a couple of people who aren't Targaryens, and how do they play into the story?
Yeah. It's like, I'm not mad at it. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. And I don't know. Obviously you're very excited for it, but I already told you I'm way more excited for the Lord of the Rings series. But I'm so cautiously not even optimistic, cautiously pessimistic because of the taste that Game of Thrones left in my mouth.
Like,
but
I'm excited. Eager to see. I'm excited for the series because the Targaryens are my favorite house in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. And the other reason why I was excited for the series is that we didn't get a lot of backstory of the Targaryens. We only knew what we heard from people, which could have just been flat out lies because people exaggerate, or there's stories that have been passed down from their grandfathers to their dads or whatever, and everybody has their own view of what the Targaryens are like. But this series is going to be like, this is it. This is what they were like. Like, what you heard in Game of Thrones, what you see right now is what is law. So I'm with you. I am cautiously pessimistic because of what they did with Game of Thrones season 8. I am. So I'm not going into this like, man, this is going to be a smash hit. I think this is going to be the best series to ever touch HBO Max. I think this is going to be a test. That can they flunk Game of Thrones and come back with a Game of Thrones spinoff series, and we be like, okay, I can forgive Game of Thrones from being trash in the last season if it led up to this. If we get to see more stuff like this.
Essentially, it's like, can we see this franchise live on? It's almost like when we talked about Harry Potter. Can the franchise live on with J.K. Rowling? Can Game of Thrones live past that trash boo-boo garbage that season 8 was?
And
can it live past that and live on?
We'll have to see. We will have to see. We won't know until it comes out. Until that first episode drops, we will not know. But I think the fact that George R.R. Martin says he likes the series. He put his stamp of approval on the series. I think that should give us some piece of optimism, because as soon as Game of Thrones season 8 dropped, my boy had Twitter fingers saying that this is not how it was going to end in the books. The man ain't even close to done writing the books, but he had the Twitter fingers saying that this is not how it's supposed to end in the books. Daenerys and Jon Snow were never supposed to meet each other, and all this, that, and the third. So
look, George R. R. Martin said, "You only finna mess up my bag because I know I make some good books. I know I write good stories."
He said, "Before y'all start sending the hate mail, I just want to put this down that this is not how I imagine this shit ending. This is not how this is not how this shit was supposed to go down." My boy was on Twitter. I'm fighting for my
life. This is stupid. Have some common sense. Why would I?
My boy.
Why would I? With my way past do this.
My boy, listen. My boy had the Twitter fingers that night that he had to let this be known that this was all them, and I ain't have shit to do with this. I think the most interesting part was him saying that Jon Snow and Daenerys were never supposed to meet each other. So y'all just made up the incest? Y'all just made up incest just to make up incest.
And what's funny, that's so interesting because I hated their relationship anyway. And like, to be honest, I thought it was cute. Like that completely took away from it.
I thought it was cute until we found out that they were related, and that Daenerys was just like, "I'm cool with incest. Let's do it." That's where I was like, okay, now we're going off the deep end, because I don't think the incest sat well with anybody, starting with the Lannisters, but because we just kept seeing it, it was like, okay, all right, the brother and sister are fucking.
Y'all nasty, but we accept y'all being nasty because we can't change it.
We can't change the fact that y'all nasty. But Daenerys? I was, and then
not Miss Independent.
And to find out that they weren't, the fact that they weren't supposed to meet. So y'all telling me y'all just wrote this script and was like, let's throw in incest. That was what y'all thought would make this complicated. And
listen, man,
I think it made it complicated. I think they succeeded by making it complicated, but I think turning around and just having Daenerys be like, "Yep, I'm cool. I'm cool with it. This is my nephew. We're gonna get married. He's gonna, yeah, let's do it." No.
Well, looking at House of the Dragons and how
it's
they
about
all
to be the
look,
same. It's about to be the same thing. It's buckle up.
She following her family trends.
Buckle up. We about to see it for real. we about to see it, because in the books they said that Daenerys was supposed to marry her brother Viserys. And that just tells you right there that this is customary. We about to see it for real.
With my 21st century mind, I don't agree with it, but y'all do you.
For real though. But we gonna see. I think it's because Lord of the Rings is supposed to drop in September, right?
I think so.
So we got House of the Dragon coming out.
Stuff during this podcast.
They trying to get the one up. House of the Dragon trying to come up in August. Lord of the Rings coming out in September. This is gonna be nasty.
I like the battle. Look, here's my whole thing. I like the battle. Do it. Compete. I like it.
This is gonna be nasty.
And September 2nd. September 2nd.
So House of the Dragon will be able to get how many episodes in before? House of the Dragon will be able to get one a week. They'll be able to get 2 episodes in before Lord of the Rings drops on the 2nd.
Direct competition. Be glad Netflix ain't dropping The Witcher on that in October.
Not we tweeting about Lord of the Rings on Friday and gotta turn around and tweet about House of the Dragon on Sunday. Come on.
It's gonna be Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan all over again.
All over again. I hope it's good. I would be very disappointed if this turns out to be trash movie garbage, because then it's gonna be like, what's the point? What was the point of you all putting out the series?
Look, and watch this. All these men finna be hormonal off this male birth control, and they want to mess up their House of the Dragon.
What? what are you talking? What? Cut his mic. Cut his mic off. Cut his fucking mic off.
My headset already turned off. Don't take my mic from me, too.
Oh, man. That is ridiculous. No. Yeah, y'all finna be taking the male birth control, walking around looking like Miss Thickums. Ryan finna get a backside, y'all.
I saw the funniest TikTok dude sit in front of the mirror when you fresh off that male birth control. I'm getting thick. Hey, babe, come look at this. I'm getting thick. I was like, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna get thick. Portia always complained about my butt. I'm finna get this birth control.
Ryan finna get a backside. Ryan is about to get a backside. That is crazy.
Oh my god.
We got through all the topics. So, unless you got something else, Ryan, we can go ahead and cut the show off right here.
Shout out to my boy Ralph. I missed you. Enjoy yourself.
We miss you,
Boyfriend
Ralph.
of the Year award goes to you.
Boyfriend of the Year award goes to Ralph.
He stood us up, and I ain't mad at it.
For real. But I appreciate you for showing up today, Ryan. And for those who are watching and listening, thanks for joining us on another episode. I also want to shout out to the people who interact with us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just want to let you guys know that your thoughts are greatly appreciated. Your responses, interacting with you guys, seeing your different point of views is what makes me want to sit down in front of this camera and this microphone and keep recording episodes, you know. So with that being said, you gotta give appreciation with the fans. You gotta end with gratitude. But
no, I felt it. That was lovely.
With that being said, make sure you guys do follow us on social media. If you're not, follow us on Instagram at the Blerd Mob Pod. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at the Blerd Mob. We're also on TikTok at the Blerd Mob Pod as well. And that's it. And this is the mob checking out. Peace.
Hands up. If you loving where you at, stand 10 toes down. Shout ain't no looking mad. You can let them haters hate when they asking where I'm smiling.